Coming up, residents in MacArthur can say goodbye to a 60-mile round trip for groceries as Campbell's Market officially opens to the public. One of the giants in early rock and roll music has passed away. Stay tuned to hear Fats Domino's incredible story.
And in sports, the Dodgers are off to an early lead in the World Series. Don't miss the recap of Game 1. Newswatch starts right now.
Broadcasting live from WOUB TV in Athens, this is Newswatch.
The grocery store that residents have been waiting for almost half a decade is finally open. Good evening, I'm Jacob Solether. Thanks for joining us. For the first time in 4 years, residents of Vinton County now have a supermarket where they can buy their groceries. Newswatch reporter Abby Grisey has your first look at Campbell's Market MacArthur.
With the opening of Campbell's Market MacArthur this morning, Vinton County's food desert is transforming into an oasis of fresh produce and meat. Since 2013, when the Super Value closed, residents like Rhoda Toon Price had to take at least an hour out of their day just to get fresh groceries. Some would even take supplements to make up for the lack of fruits and vegetables.
How would you like to travel 10 miles one way and I whipped this banana out to buy one of these? Or would you rather stay home and take potassium tablets?
But Campbell's now makes healthy options more accessible. Rick Campbell is the owner of the store. He says making the decision to open Campbell's was easy.
We could feel the need that everybody's been talking about.
It may be the only grocery store in the entire 414 square mile county, but it is making all the difference for people in the area. For WOUB News, I'm Abby Grisey.
Campbell's grand opening will be held in December. For full coverage of Vinton County's fight for a grocery store, head to woub.org. The Athens Halloween block party is coming up, and Athens County Prosecutor Keller Blackburn wants everyone to feel safe. Blackburn and Athens County officials who have formed a sexual assault resource collaborative stand with those who believe they have become a victim of sexual assault. In the event of sexual assault, including rape, Blackburn says it is important that a victim immediately reports it to law enforcement. Blackburn wants people to have confidence when reporting sexual assault, and he wants them to they will be taken seriously. The House is passing a law which will force Ohio's concealed carry weapon holders to tell the police if they are armed. Republican Scott Wiggum, who proposed the new law, says concealed carry weapon holders right now could face a first-degree misdemeanor, a $1,000 fine, and the loss of their CCW license for a year if they do not tell an officer they're carrying a weapon. However, Wiggum said the law doesn't define it clearly.
Ohio's current concealed carry notification law is ambiguous, arbitrarily enforced, and carries the most draconian penalties in the nation.
Wiggum's bill would require CCW holders to hand over their licenses or say they're carrying only when officers ask for an ID. The Buckeye State Sheriff's Association is neutral on the bill, but the Fraternal Order of Police is opposed. The bill now moves on to the Senate. The Ohio House approves a bill that will cut the penalties for concealed carry permit holders who fail to tell the police they have a weapon when they are detained by authorities. This bill will reduce the penalty from a misdemeanor that carries up to 6 months in jail and a $1,000 fine to just a $25 fine. The bill goes next to the Senate. Gun rights groups are hoping the lawmakers do away with the penalties entirely, while police groups oppose the change. Ohio's election chief says absentee ballots requests are higher this year than the similar election cycle 2 years ago. Republican Secretary of State John Husted says an estimate of more than 250,000 absentee ballots have been requested statewide. He said yesterday that almost 70,000 ballots have been cast. 223,000 ballots have been requested at this point in 2015, with more than 61,000 ballots already cast.
Today was just one of those days where you just want to sit inside, wear your sweatpants, sweatshirt, and just watch TV. Obviously, you can't do that being a Tuesday or a Wednesday afternoon, but it was just dreary and just rainy on and off all throughout the day today. So right now, we're currently sitting at 44 degrees. Our winds are sitting from the southwest at 2 miles per hour. Dew point is sitting at 40 degrees. But as we look at the region across the area, is 43 in New Lexington, 45 in Newark. Our warm spot's actually in Columbus at 48 and 47 in Ironton. And as we go throughout the night to night. We go 41 at 8 p.m., 37 at midnight, and 33 by 4 a.m. And we'll gradually see those clouds get out of the area throughout the region for tonight. Jacob, back to you.
Thanks, Grant. A 4-day manhunt in Cleveland that started last weekend came to a dramatic halt last night when ex-police officer Tommy Griffin reportedly took his own life. Today, police are forming a clear picture of Griffin's time on the run. Joe Paganakis takes us out to yesterday's scene.
He committed suicide, shot himself with an AR-15.
It was a standoff that started at this home on West 165th Street just after 11 this morning. U.S. Marshals were able to track 52-year-old Tommy Griffin III to a friend's home after Griffin, facing charges of raping and beating his girlfriend back in January, removed his ankle bracelet over the weekend, escaping custody.
He had an accomplice for those 2 days. Someone else took him to this house.
Griffin actually spent Saturday and Sunday night here at this Motel 6 on Lorraine Road in North Ridgeville before being driven to this home last night. Elliott says police did everything they could to get Griffin to surrender peacefully.
Never made one comment whatsoever. We were trying to talk to him all day long.
Griffin's body was found in the basement of the home, and sadly, it was some of his former police colleagues with Cleveland's 1st District who made the terrible discovery.
I feel very badly for the Cleveland police officers that had to go in the house today and who knew him and had to witness this.
Cleveland's 1st District commander praised the team effort, but said some of his officers may need psychological counseling to cope with this case.
They're having a hard time right now. But unfortunately, we have our employees assistance unit that's got out here on scene right now.
Still, though, police knew they were dealing with a potentially lethal situation since they were able to confirm that Griffin had an assault rifle inside the home.
That's a pretty powerful weapon that could have been used against any of our guys, and that's one of the worries we had today outside, and we've been here all day. We had all day that he's going to try to take one of us out.
Cleveland police are continuing to investigate for any accomplices who may have helped Griffin hide. A Louisville man killed in the attack on Pearl Harbor and officially declared as lost will soon be given a final resting place with full military honors. After 76 years, Samuel Crowder, a 35-year-old petty officer, was among the 429 sailors and Marines killed in the attack. DNA testing identified Crowder's body just a few months ago. The next step is funeral services for the Navy fireman who had been declared lost. It's still unclear where Crowder will be buried. Drama continues in Capitol Hill over Arizona Senator Jeff Flake's rebuke on President Trump. Hear the president's response next. And legendary Woogie Boogie's blues artist Fats Domino passed away. Hear the story of how he revolutionized rock and roll music when Newswatch returns.
University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
Hey everybody, I'm Gridiron Glory host Joseph Payton. Every Friday night live at 11:30, we will have a jam-packed show for you with everything that went down on the local gridiron that night. From every touchdown pass to every crushing hit, Gridiron Glory is your #1 source for all things Southeast Ohio football. So please be sure to tune into our show and also follow us on Twitter and Snapchat at Gridiron Glory, and of course like us on Facebook. I promise you won't want to miss out, because remember, there's nothing better than Friday nights and Gridiron Glory.
I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous. Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, "This is it." And she said, "The tour's just started." I said, "No, you don't understand. This is it."
My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything. Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us. My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything. Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous. Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, "This is it." And she said, "The tour's just started." I said, "No, you don't understand. This is it."
Hey everybody, I'm Gridiron Glory host Joseph Payton. Every Friday night, live at 11:30, we will have a jam-packed show for you with everything that went down on the local gridiron that night. From every touchdown pass to every crushing hit, Gridiron Glory is your #1 source for all things Southeast Ohio football. So please be sure to tune into our show and also follow us on Twitter and Snapchat at Gridiron Glory, and of course like us on Facebook. I promise you won't want to miss out, because remember, there's nothing better than Friday nights and Gridiron Glory.
In Thailand, the 5-day funeral celebration begins for the beloved Thai king Bhumibol Adulyadej. Today, the king's urn was moved to the cremation site. Tomorrow, the king's body will be transported to the site and the ceremony will begin in the evening. As much as $90 million has been spent on the ceremony. Royal families and national leaders from around the world will attend the celebration. A public holiday has been declared for tomorrow, the day of cremation. The Thai king died at the age of 88 in October last year, having ruled the country for 70 years. The fallout continues over the stunning announcement made by GOP Senator Jeff Flake that he will not seek re-election. President Trump is hitting back after Flake made a stunning speech on the Senate floor yesterday that criticized the president's behavior. After his visit to Capitol Hill to push for tax reform,
a number of my colleagues have expressed concern about the direction of our politics and the behavior of the president. I think in the coming months you'll have more people stand up.
Many conservative outlets claim Flake's announcement as a victory, and the president said he still believes the Arizona senator will be on board with his tax reforms. Legendary singer and piano player Antoine Fats Domino has passed away. The medical examiner in Louisiana's Jefferson Parish says he died of natural causes early yesterday morning at the age of 89. Domino was a rock and roll Hall of Famer whose boogie woogie blues dominated the music in the 1950s and 60s. Kyung Lau has a look back at some of what Fats Domino gave us.
Ain't That a Shame was one of the songs that put Antoine Fats Domino Jr. on the musical map in America. The 1955 tune hit the top 10 and catapulted this soft-spoken, humble New Orleans musician into superstardom.
I just made it big because I guess the people liked my record, and regardless how big people say I am, I feel much bigger when I'm in New Orleans.
Before the sounds of jazz and blues engulfed the Crescent City, it was Fats Domino's boogie-woogie beats that had people foot-tapping. Domino was a best-selling African-American singer in the 1950s and early 1960s. The pianist and singer sold more than 65 million albums and had more than 30 top 40 singles, including the catchy Blueberry Hill. Although Domino originally signed with Imperial Records back in the 1940s, he eventually moved over to ABC Paramount Records. From then on, the hits slowed down, but that didn't worry Domino.
I enjoy working. Matter of fact, I feel better when I'm working.
And fans and music critics never fell out of love with his bluesy sound either.
Ladies and gentlemen, Antoine Fats Domino.
He also earned a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award and was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. October 24th, 1991 was proclaimed Fats Domino Day in his native city. Domino and his wife Rosemary had 8 children, all while living in the Big Easy. But in his 70s, he began experiencing health problems and even had to bow out of the New Orleans Jazz Fest in May 2006. He made headlines in the days following Hurricane Katrina in 2005. He was feared dead because his neighborhood, the Lower Ninth Ward, was all but washed away. In a matter of days, the world learned he and his family had been rescued. But Domino's home, battered by the storm and inundated by floodwaters 15 feet high, didn't fare so well.
I would like to keep the house.
Fats Domino's music will live forever, but that's not all he gave us.
In all my life, I tried my best to make people happy with my music. And tonight, I want y'all to know y'all made me very, very happy. Thank you. God bless you.
Other artists continue to record and perform Domino's repertoire, showing that the post-war American music giant still influences everyone. Another celebrity passed away at age 89, the same age as Domino. Emmy Award winner Robert Guillaume died in Los Angeles yesterday morning. Guillaume's widow, Donna Brown Guillaume, says the actor had been battling prostate cancer. He was best known for portraying Benson DuBois in the TV show Benson, which ran from 1979 until 1986 and landed him one of his 2 Emmys. Guillaume captured an entirely new audience in 1994 when he provided the voice for Rafiki in The Lion King. He leaves behind a wife and 4 children. And here's a look at stocks of your local interest.
Welcome back to the Newswatch Weather Center. I'm Grant Denman. What a dreary and rainy day we had today, as we're currently sitting at 44 degrees. Our winds are sitting from the southwest at 2 miles per hour. Our dew point's 48 degrees. Our humidity is 84%, excuse me. So it's just really moist outside, and it's very easy for any precipitation that's in the air just to fall. So as we look at today of what we had, we hit 45 degrees as our high, which is well below our normal, which is 62 degrees for this time of year. Our record high was set back in 1991 at 83. Just a couple of weeks ago, we were actually sitting at that temperature practically. But if we look at today's low, we were sitting at 39 degrees. That will actually drop as we go through later tonight before we get to midnight. So that low will continue to drop. Our normal low is 43 degrees. Our record low is 24, set back in 1960. And the sunrise is getting closer to 8 o'clock, and our sunset is getting closer to 6 o'clock as well. So as we look at the overnight lows tonight, we're sitting 31 in Athens, 29 in New Lexington, 30 in Newark, 34 in Columbus, 31 in Chillicothe. The further west you go, there's a better chance for fog to develop in the area. And there's actually a freeze warning that's in effect for a good majority of the state tonight. So it's just going to be very cold and our first frost. So if you have any plants that are outside tonight, just make sure that those are covered up or brought inside. So we'll be cloudy for the majority of the night. We'll be sitting at 31 degrees. Once again, we have that freeze warning in effect. But as we go towards the morning hours, we'll gradually see some clearing, and our winds are going to be very calm tonight from the south at 0 to 5 miles per hour. So if we look at tomorrow's forecast, we have this high pressure that's sitting to our south. That will begin to push more of the southerly winds out from the Gulf of Mexico, so we'll get some warm air pushing up, and we'll get rid of those clouds from this low pressure that's off the east coast right now. So we'll begin to clear out as we go through the next couple of days. Tomorrow you're going to want to grab that coat, 31 degrees, but thankfully it'll be sunny, unlike this morning it was just rainy and cold. So just grab that coat, and once again, calm winds, 0 to 5, so thankfully we won't have that wind chill to deal with. So tomorrow we're actually going to warm up very nicely at 32 at 8 a.m., 46 by noon, and 56 by 4 p.m. So it's just going to be very nice, sunny, and just complete opposite of today. And as we go into tomorrow, 57 will actually be our high, so very seasonal, and will be a lot warmer than we are right now. So tomorrow, 53 in New Lux, 56 in Newark, 58 in Columbus, and 58 down in Ironton. Sunny all across the area. This weekend, 55 on Saturday and 50 on Sunday. So Halloween weekend, this is going to be cloudy, rainy, 80% chance of rain, and we'll begin to warm up again late next week. And 57 on Wednesday with a 30% chance of rain. Back to you, Jacob.
Thanks, Grant. The weather's been crazy and unpredictable this year, but one thing that people are predicting is that you may have to pay more for your favorite bottle of wine coming next year. An international group of wine producers says extreme weather is causing global wine production to fall to its lowest level in more than a half century. The International Organization of Vine and Wine says they expect an 8% decrease in wine production worldwide next year. And that's because 2017 is on track to experience the worst global harvest since 1961, due to grapevines in Italy, France, and Spain suffering from the extreme heat and cold.
Hi, I'm Thomas Garbrick. After the break, find out which members of the Ohio women's basketball team was named to the preseason All-MAC East team. Also coming up, Clayton Kershaw came up big for the LA Dodgers. Hear what he had to say about his performance next on Newswatch. Stay tuned to WOUB. Here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
I'm Gridiron Glory host Joseph Payton. Every Friday night, live at 11:30, we will have a jam-packed show for you with everything that went down on the local gridiron that night. From every touchdown pass to every crushing hit, Gridiron Glory is your #1 source for all things Southeast Ohio football. So please be sure to tune into our show and also follow us on Twitter and Snapchat at Gridiron Glory, and of course like us on Facebook. I promise you won't want to miss out, because remember, there's nothing better than Friday nights and Gridiron Glory.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything. Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous. Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, this is it. And she said, the tour's just started. I said, no, you don't understand. This is it.
Welcome back. I'm Thomas Garbrick. Clayton Kershaw continues to silence all of his postseason critics. He powered the LA Dodgers to a 3-1 win over the Houston Astros in Game 1 of the World Series last night. Kershaw struck out 11 Astros in 7 innings, stifling the best offense in the American League. He was aided by postseason hero Justin Turner, who launched a 2-run home run in the 6th inning that proved to be the difference in the game. Kershaw talked about how he approached the explosive Astros lineup.
There's little room for error, so it was important for me to establish pitches, be able to throw multiple things for strikes, and I'm thankful I was able to do that tonight. And I made a few mistakes. Obviously, Bregman got me, and then threw one pretty much down the middle of Correa that he popped up that could have gone a long way too. So, for the most part, though, it was I'll take it.
Game 2 is in LA again tonight with first pitch set for 8:09 p.m. What can't LeBron James do? For the first time since 2012, James started last night's game against the Chicago Bulls as the point guard. With Derrick Rose nursing a bad ankle, LeBron took the keys to the offense and needless to say, he had some fun. He scored a game-high 34 points and dished out the rock 13 times to lead the Cavs to a comeback 119-112 win. At age 32 and in his 14th season, LeBron has shown no signs of slowing down. With Rose and Dwayne Wade being out for the team's next game, expect James to continue to run the helm. James and the Cavs are back in action tonight against the Brooklyn Nets with tip-off set for 7:30 p.m. In 2018, Darrell Wallace Jr. will be making NASCAR history. Earlier this afternoon, Richard Petty Motorsports announced that Wallace Jr. will be the first full-time African-American driver in the NASCAR Cup Series. The last African-American driver before Wallace Jr. to compete in a Cup race was Bill Lester in 2004. Wallace Jr. had 8 top 10 finishes and 13 starts in NASCAR's Xfinity Series last year. The Ohio women's soccer team hits the road against the reigning Mid-American Conference champions Kent State tomorrow at 3 p.m. The Bobcats will be going into the game looking to build momentum for the MAC Championship Tournament, which begins this Sunday. Last time these teams met, the Golden Flashes won in dramatic fashion, a 3-2 overtime heartbreaking loss for the Bobcats. Ohio women's basketball guard Taylor Agler was named to the preseason All-MAC East team, the conference announced this afternoon. The senior will have to fill the shoes of Kiki Lampkins, who led the team in scoring last season. The Bobcats were selected to finish 3rd in the MAC East division. This team is coming off a 22-10 season that saw them exit in the first round of the Women's Invitational Tournament. They begin their season on November 11th when they host High Point. I'm Thomas Garbrick, and that's it for sports. Back to you, Jacob.
Track or Treat continues in Athens on South Green. This is part of the 3-day outreach event the Residents Action Council puts on every year. Monday night, the event was on East Green, and yesterday, West Green. Each residence hall decorates and organizes unique trick-or-treat experience for children of the Athens and surrounding communities. Tomorrow, Trick or Treat will begin in Athens, Nelsonville, the Plains, Chansey, and Albany.
That trick-or-treating forecast tonight is not looking so good, but tomorrow night it looks like it's going to be picture perfect. Tonight we have that freeze warning in effect, 31 degrees here in Athens, 29 in New Lexington for the first sub-30 degree temperature of the season, 33 in Ironton, and just cloudy throughout the night. Tomorrow at the bus stop, you're going to want to grab that coat as it is going to be chilly. It is going to be 31 degrees tomorrow, but thankfully that sun is going to be out and that wind's going to be calm. But if we look at the 7-day forecast, it is going to be 57 degrees tomorrow, and by the time we get to next week, 60. Back to you, Jacob.
And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Jacob Solether. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next, and remember, you can find the latest news anytime at woub.org. Have a great night.
Buddy, I'm Gridiron Glory host Joseph Payton. Every Friday night, live at 11:30, we will have a jam-packed show for you with everything that went down on the local gridiron that night. From every touchdown pass to every crushing hit, Gridiron Glory is your #1 source for all things Southeast Ohio football. So please be sure to tune into our show and also follow us on Twitter and Snapchat at Gridiron Glory, and of course like us on Facebook. I promise you won't want to miss out, because remember, there's nothing better than Friday nights and Gridiron Glory.